Scouting is obviously the craze of the day. It's an important tool in every deer hunter's arsenal. I definitely recommend it. I think it's important. I've used it out-of-state trips, in-state trips, places I'm currently hunting. Like, I know like the back of my hand. I'm always looking at maps, I feel. But I think there's a couple things that a guy can use before he dives in on e-scouting, say a new piece or a week hunt or a rut vacation, maybe a 3 or 4 day trip to another state, that are steps to take before you dive in and really start e-scouting. So to get things started, number one would be a people population density map. You can find those doing a little Google searching, if you will. And it's kind of cool because it shows you like some secondary type information as far as where those people are gathered. And a lot of people know like the main cities. Like you look at Ohio, everyone knows Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati. But you know, where are those secondary type hubs between Akron, Toledo, Springfield, the Zanesvilles of the world, like all those like smaller cities, you may not have heard of if you've never been to that state. And so you can see those on a lot of these maps, and even if they're 10 years old or whatever, you can get a breakdown. And sometimes you can actually even find these breakdowns like by county. For example, here in Ohio, you can see by county, like, the counties we hunt are anywhere between upper 50s to mid 80 people per square mile. Once you start going west, that drops dramatically. I know there's places in Iowa, Wisconsin that are 20 to 30 people per square mile. And so that's just a good piece of intel to look at before you would dive in on a piece, just because you want to get away from those people. People are apex predators, and obviously there's going to be more people and more hunters in those high population density areas. So you can separate yourself, maybe driving an extra 20-30 minutes if that's something you feel comfortable with or confident with. It might be worth some of that time. Or if you're planning a western trip or another state, generally if I'm going to travel to whitetails, I'm going to go west from Ohio. But looking at is driving 4 hours or maybe driving 5.5, is there significantly better hunting, just to get away from those people. So that's something to consider. So all this talk about driving actually leads me to my second bullet point, and that is drivability. You have to really assess what you feel comfortable driving, one, on a daily basis, if this is a piece that's close by. Two, if you're gonna go there for a trip, does it matter if some piece is say 3 to 4 hours or 5 to 6? Me personally, I can drive anywhere under 6 hours and feel pretty confident. We have found with hunting some neighboring states that hunting 3.5 hours is something we can get up at midnight and be there for sunrise pretty easily. We originally had picked a piece that was farther and we weren't going to be able to go as much, but when we find those pieces that are more in that 3 to 3.5 hour mark, we can drive there. We can hunt there a little more. We're more apt to go. I don't feel bad about just hunting a morning and then driving home, because that's how you're going to be able to kill multiple bucks when we only have one buck tag here in Ohio. The other thing to consider is a little bit of how hard is the drive. Driving an hour on 2-lane zigzaggy country roads is way different than driving an hour down a main highway where you sit cruise and pretty much can take a nap with your eyes open. David Ebright may or may not have done that. Looking at our third big bullet point of this whole conversation is a Google search. And you would be shocked when I find out and hear from guys that are hunting a piece that is literally the #1 Google search, like best public land in Ohio, and you're hunting it. You and every other Tom, Dick, and Harry are going to be there. And you get a lot of those fringe hardcore guys. You get the guys that are willing to drive and take a trip. I literally watched a YouTube video the other day. These guys are willing to drive and take a trip from like North Carolina. But they're hunting out of climbers. They're hunting just like single trees day after day, not doing any scouting. But you're going to get those guys that dream of these big bucks and know that they got to get out of the south. They got to get out of the east to find them. And they're gonna like do a little bit of recon, but not do like second tier analysis. So they're gonna go to Google. They're gonna see, hey, this is the best public piece in Ohio. That's where I'm gonna go. So I would never look at the top counties, even neighboring counties. I almost want to find that B+ type public, if you will, where It's in a good area. It's going to hold a good one for me. You know, I feel confident to find my status a shooter, but I don't need the best of the best, and I don't want to fight the other people. That's just what it comes down to. So yeah, those are my 3 things that I would do before e-scouting. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you like some of this public land content. Season's coming up. Maybe check out our films. Really appreciate you guys tuning in.